All right, we got 10.3 skills video for grain storage assignment. So basically I'm choosing bins, and this is because they have lots of great features that we use, and it's why we use them. Pretty easy access to, get to your grain. Great protection from, the outside elements. And they have aeration systems to keep moisture levels low so that, they don't mold or anything, sell better and all that. And they're all in the same place, which is great for, easy access too, I guess. And explanation on them is basically we use the storage method for its practicality. Great use and mainly used by like bigger farmers because it's who are low on time and always in a hurry because they're all in the same place. These bins make it easy to transport grain and just pull up a truck and auger and it's good to go. The aeration fans keep the grain at a good moisture level. Don't want it to get into too moistury. Grain bins are usually all in the same place in big groups to make it easier to access and really help out with getting to it and to sell it. So, and next up we got cleaning, and we'll get to that once we get to the bins. For cleaning the bin, you're usually gonna wanna, clean out the bins, just empty it out. So when you're switching crop or got leftover crop that's gone bad or whatever, usually just go in there with a shovel it all out, sweep it all out, and always make sure you're wearing your proper PPE, which would be like gloves for your hands, boots for your feet, and goggles in case there's a bunch of dust in there, which there usually tends to be. So yeah. All right, so that's 10.3. We got some bins, right? These bins are the ones that we use on our farm, at my buddy's place right now. Basically, good for keeping storage and all that. I already talked about this. We got aeration systems. These ones don't, because I think they're for cattle, but there's some like that. Basically, keep the moisture levels so keep it for that. These bins right here, top and bottom, pretty good. Usually when you're unloading or filling up, you use an auger like that. And right here, this one here, auger's already in, goes in there. This is for getting rid of grain, that's why it's at the bottom. And see how they're all numbered? It's because you always want to know what grain's in which bin, so you always probably write on a piece of paper that you keep in your shop or your office or whatever what grain's in which bin, the correct bin number, how much grain's even in it if you want to. That's about it for that. Alright, these bins, you need to clean them out because they get pretty big. Grain can get old and get rotten, that. So you gotta go in there and clean it up. Basically, you gotta make sure you have proper PPE, which is not what I wear because we're not going inside these full bins. So you gotta wear boots, because you gotta get good traction in there. Wear gloves, keep your hands safe. Goggles for your eyes. Air mask, because it does get really dusty in there. And just bring in a shovel. Sometimes you have a room if you want to make it that clean. You just go in there, shovel it all out. Make sure she's clean and ready for the next crop. Alright, so unfortunately we couldn't go inside any of the bins because they're all full. It's very cold outside, so I wanted to film the rest in here. Here are some pictures of some of these bins here. So here we got a good demonstration of how the bins work. As you can tell, got the hopper, you got all the rings here, go all the way around. The columns to hold it up. The roof part, apparently it's called a conical roof, never heard of that before. And the different door systems. So there's that. This picture right here is pretty good to show the bottom and how it works. So basically it keeps the grain kind of like in a funnel system down, which is pretty good. Buddy found a picture here of a bin being put together. Notice how the hopper bottom, like the bottom parts, differ from the actual bin parts because they're usually sold separately. Like there's companies that just make the bottoms. So that's one being put together, a tall crane, because they're pretty big. Yeah, I found another good picture here. Right here shows that it is just metal inside, nothing fancy at all other than at the bottom, the hopper bottom system. Just metal inside. Here's some flat bottom bins, just straight empty. Those ones are just cleaned out, so that's what it looks like once it's cleaned out there. And yeah, that's about that. Ooh, right here, you see how a bin's falling over? Well, in Saskatchewan, bins tend to fall over. There can get some high winds, and tall structures, and especially when they're empty, they're not really hooked up to the ground unless they're on a cement pad, so they tend to fall over a lot, which usually sucks, but it's not as often because usually they do have grain in them. So yeah, sorry about the fact we couldn't go inside a bin, but yeah, that's basically that.